Yeah, I think for sure there's a silver lining and there's an opportunity for the smaller brokers. I think though that it's a function of evolution, and the brokers have got to show that they have a strong value proposition, where they can stand on their own and be a preferred channel to market for these insurers. And I think to do that effectively, they're going to have to first and foremost service and look after their clients effectively, but probably also look at how they advance their technologies to ensure that they can integrate effectively into the insurer platform, which is becoming more important with their data requirements and the SAM requirements coming down the line. Look, I think it's all a bit up in the air at the moment, but I think at the end of the day it's going to be a function of economics and what works for all stakeholders in the insurance market. I think that there has been some exorbitant fees that have been absorbed by the market historically, and I think that the market is always prepared to pay a premium for good service. But I think brokers or intermediaries who have a heavy weighting towards a fee-based model, which might be perceived as unjustified in the new regulatory universe, are going to come under pressure. And I think for me, the universe of outsourcing going forward is a universe whereby the best of breed and specialists can command a premium and a fee for what they do, but it has to ultimately be a fee that's in line with the new regulatory environment, but probably most importantly in line with what the insurers are able to digest in terms of warranting outsourcing these functions rather than bringing them in-house. So whilst I think there's a lot of news and noise around the regulatory market, I think that the insurers are going to play a big role around driving the behavior around cost and what they can absorb in terms of their off-platform business that they drive premium through. So I think the short answer is you're going to see a lot more consolidation happening, not just in the short-term insurance market, in the general advisory intermediary market. If you look at the precedent that's been set in the UK with the advent of RDR coming into that market, I think we've seen IFAs get whittled down from about 30,000 to circa 15,000 in the last 3 years alone. I'd expect to see the same sort of consolidation in the South African market. But I think that consolidation is necessary to ensure that the best of breed are servicing those channels of the market going forward. And also I think it is going to be difficult for brokers who don't have cost structures that can absorb the new regulatory compliance and complexity that comes with running an intermediary to do it unless they have some form of scale to protect their margin and bottom line. So I think that going forward you'll undoubtedly see more consolidation happening in the local market, given the precedents that have been set around UK and Europe. So I think technology is a bit of a buzzword, fintech's a bit of a buzzword at the moment, but I think ultimately technology is really going to drive efficiency in the market and cost effectiveness in the market. I think that the smaller brokers need to understand what they do incredibly well and where they have a competitive advantage. And for me, why we are such a big supporter of the small brokers is because they service their clients incredibly well. They have strong relationships with these clients. More importantly, they're independent financial advisors to these clients, which is, I think, integral under the new RDR legislation that's going to come to pass. But I do think they need to put themselves in a position that allows them to easily transact with the insurers or the product providers. And I think the only way they can do that is through a technology partner, or to gear themselves up to the extent that they meet what the insurer's technological requirements are going forward. I think my message is that it is incredibly important that the South African intermediary environment as a whole retains its independence. It's healthy for the policyholder, it's healthy for competition, and I think it's imperative in South Africa, given the challenges that we have, that we cultivate and grow entrepreneurial, owner-driven businesses. And I think it is in no one's interest to drive these businesses out of the market, but I do think it is a case of going back to the mattresses and really understanding what they are good at and where they can build their own competitive advantage against some of the other bigger, more corporate institutional players in the market.